Hey, this is Alexis Garnaut-Miller from InnerHappinessMastery.com, and this is the second video in a series of 4. The purpose of it is to give you some practical tips for feeling instantly happy or happier at work. Now, we spend a lot of time at work feeling uncomfortable, maybe feeling frustrated, tense, anxious, anticipation, whatever that negative feeling might be. But here's the deal. It's not a bad thing to feel those feelings, because feelings are just feelings. They're either positive or negative, ones you want, ones you don't want. But here's a key. Rather than look at these as being negative feelings, what we want to do is breathe our way into that feeling, into that felt sensation, so that we can feel even more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. We spend a lot of time and energy trying to get away from feelings that we'd rather not have. So instead of just ignoring them and kind of try and get rid of them, the key is dive on in there and start to breathe and accept that you've got these sensations in your body. Maybe it's a sensation of anxiety, of overwhelm, of frustration, of disappointment, of tension in the body. Maybe it's sadness, fear, loneliness, guilt, whatever those feelings, those just felt sensations might be. They're just feelings. They're not going to kill you. Sometimes it feels as if they're really, the intensity of those feelings is pretty overwhelming. But we dive into this intense experience and we just accept it for what it is, which is we get more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. That way you're not going to be turning away from yourself or turning away from your feelings or trying to get rid of them or trying to get out of the situation. Instead, the remedy is we immerse ourselves in it. We get familiar with this uncomfortable feeling, so it's no longer uncomfortable. It's maybe undesirable, but then if we just accept it, then we can start to feel very comfortable with being uncomfortable, and we start to realize that it's not such a bad thing. It's just part of a human experience. Another way of looking at this is that emotions are just energy in motion. Energy in motion. And here's the key. If you get blocked with a feeling, it's because you're not breathing. Because the breath work is what helps keep moving that flow of energy, those emotions around in the body. So we start to dive on into ourselves and just start to feel that sensation of anger or sadness or guilt. We're not trying to run away from it. We immerse ourselves in it. We get in rapport and relationship with that feeling, that emotion, that energy emotion, and we breathe, and then guess what happens? Most of the time, it starts to pass. This time too shall pass. Emotions only get stuck when we stop breathing and we keep turning away from them. So over the course of the 12-week Inner Happiness Mastery program, you'll start to master these felt sensations where no longer will you have fear, worry, or concern that you're going to have a negative feeling. When it comes up, you'll start to get really familiar with that felt sensation. You'll start to get a rapport, a relationship, and communication with that felt sensation, and we take the wisdom from it. Sometimes it's the wisdom of acceptance, of just being where we're being, and that's okay. Sometimes we take the information that it's trying to tell us, that emotion, energy emotion, has got some information that we need to start paying attention to, being aware of, listening to. And one more tip before we wrap up in this video is that your comfort zone. We try and get away from feelings we don't want because it keeps us feeling comfortable. But everything you want is over this line. Outside of your comfort zone. It's in your uncomfortable area. So over the course of the 12-week Inner Happiness Mastery program, you're going to get really, really skilled at stepping over that comfort zone and being totally okay about it. In fact, you'll be getting excited about pushing yourself to the edge in a slightly new way, in a way that's distinctly different from the way that you've done it in the past. And suddenly, any emotions that start coming up for you, you'll be able to recognize the information and the wisdom in that really, really quickly, so you can assimilate that experience take control and then move on to the next stage in your journey. It's really exciting stuff. So namaste. It's been Alexis Garnaut-Miller from InnerHappinessMastery.com, and I'll be seeing you again soon. Take good care.